The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Jesus sat down opposite the treasury and observed how the crowd put money into the treasury. Many rich people put in large sums. A poor widow also came and put in 2 small coins worth a few cents. Calling his disciples to himself, he said to them, "Amen, I say to you, this poor widow put in more than all the other contributors to the treasury. For they have all contributed from their surplus wealth, but she, from her poverty, has contributed all she had, her whole livelihood." The Gospel of the Lord. In a few moments, you know it's coming. There's a basket going to be passed around, and we need you to put your money in that basket. That's my homily. I'm just kidding. We need this money to be put in the basket so that we can pay the priests, so that we can keep the lights on and pay for maintenance and cleaning. You know the drill. Not much has changed in 2,000 years because our gospel story finds Jesus sitting in front of the collection basket in the old temple. And they need people to make their temple tax so that they can pay the priests, they can buy oil and candles to keep the place lighted, and so that they can pay maintenance fees so they can clean up all the blood. Yes, I said blood. Because not much has changed in 2,000 years, but a lot has actually, because you all came shuffling in the doors wide open into the warmth of this community with money in your wallets, prayers in your heart, and gratitudes on your mind. But the people in ancient Israel came with money in their pockets, with prayers in their heart, gratitudes on their mind, and also some sort of farm animals so that they could slaughter, sprinkle them with blood, and then offer their sacrifice so that God would forgive them and finally let them go free. A lot has changed because I know none of you have goats or oxen or sheep or anything, so there's going to be no killing later. But there is going to be a sacrifice later. The sacrifice that Jesus made for us. Jesus asks us to give, like this widow did, of our whole livelihood. What does that mean, though? What is our whole livelihood? I went and looked up the Greek word for that, and the Greek word that is used in the gospel is bios, B-I-O-S, or bios, as in biography. This means the physical gift, or God's gift of physical life on this world. And the root of the English term biography is the record or the account of how we spent and invested our physical life on this earth. So we are being asked to give of our life, give of our whole livelihood. But I don't know what that means either. On the surface level, that could mean, let's say this past week you got rear-ended. Gas went up in price, and some little girl guilted you into buying about 16 boxes of Girl Scout cookies. You feel the pinch, but still you throw $20 in that basket as it goes around at Mass. You are that widow who have given of her whole livelihood and is praised by Jesus. But then on a deeper spiritual level, let's say that you had a hard day at work. Your boss yelled at you for something that you didn't even do. You come home and the kids are crying and misbehaving and throwing food, and the dog went crazy and ate up the entire rug in the living room floor. If you still, at the end of that day, kneel down beside your bed for even 30 seconds with your spouse and say, "Lord, today was really hard, but I thank you for it, and I thank you for what you've given me. Please give me strength for tomorrow." You are that widow. You have given of your whole livelihood. You have given of what you have barely anything left. A great way to put dialogue with that widow is to look at our first reading, which is the prophet Elijah going to Zarephath, and he met a widow with her son. He asks for a little cake. I'm hungry, I'm a prophet, I'm a priest, I need something to eat. She says, we don't have anything. What does she say here? She says, I have nothing baked, and I have no flour left, and I have no oil left. But he says, just a little cake, just a little one. Can I have just a little something? And she goes, all right, I'll do it. I'll trust in God, and I'll give of my whole livelihood, even though all it is just a tiny bit of flour and a tiny bit of oil. And with that cake, with that sacrifice, the oil never goes dry, and the flour jar never runs empty. In a few moments, not only is that collection basket going to be passed around, but we are also going to be sending forward, in one of my favorite parts of the Mass, the offertory. Two people are going to bring forward, yes, the money, but they're also going to bring forward the bread and the wine. Little cakes, just tiny little unleavened cakes. And it's not very much, but what you have, the prayers in your heart, the things that are burdening you, the gratitudes in your mind, everything that you're carrying into this church, not oxen, sheep, or goats, everything you're carrying with you, Jesus is inviting you to put into that bread basket, put into that wine jar, and it is going to go and be one sacrifice to feed all of us. Because the example we're living off of giving of our whole livelihood, is that man right up there on the cross. He didn't have any flour, he didn't have any oil, he didn't have any time to pray, he didn't have any money. And yet still, on the cross for that day, we have never gone dry, and we have never run empty since him giving of his whole livelihood. And so as we go forward into this 32nd week of ordinary time, I invite you to throw all your cares, worries, gratitudes, everything into the bread and wine as it comes forward. We'll offer it as a sacrifice, feast together, and then go out into the world to spread the love and the gratitude that Christ has given us. Amen.